The next thing is the sugar. The sugar. And you can't pour it all in there, right? I don't want that cake. I was going to go with the trials and everything you go through and move on. But there are times that are really good, even when you're going through the midst of the storm. When his grace and his mercy just beam through. Anybody ever seen it? Just, Lord, just thank you for new mercies every morning. New mercies, just the sugar. Like Rev said, a little foretaste of what we're going to have in the future. Can't do too much. But I put the sugar in there. You're not going to have the sweet taste. Sometimes life feels bitter, but the sugar in the cake brings sweetness. The sugar isn't always, listen to me, the biggest part of the recipe. You probably want me to shake the whole thing in. But it still has an essential role. It sweetens everything up. In our lives, the sweetness of God's love and grace transforms even the most difficult situations. While we may face hardships, Romans 8:28, it assures us that God is working all things for our good. And that includes the sweet moments of joy, peace, and blessing he pours in our life. Y'all, let me ask you something. If you just, let me put it, even in the midst of sorrow, there's sweetness in knowing that God's love, it surrounds us. His love surrounds us. And sometimes it's those small moments of grace, kindness, and peace that reminds us that God's goodness is real and he's with us. Anybody ever been through something and just in the middle of it, you just get a sense of peace? And God sends you something, Kathy, and you're like, God, I know you're real. Thank you for letting me make it. I share some things. My wife, sometimes she don't want me to talk, but I don't talk too much. But I remember one time, it was a long time ago, she was looking. I remember my mama, Gusta, you don't have to tell it all. But she was looking for a job, and it was tough because she had just finished and everything, and she couldn't find it. It was tough times, right? And she's like, man, what am I doing wrong? She's qualified, Benita. But what God would do, I say, even in the midst of the times, he would just send her a job and somebody say, we want to hire you. And even though she wouldn't take it, portion, that's not what she was looking for. God showed you, I'm still here. I'm going to get you what you need to be, but know that I'm in control of this situation right now. God's sweetness. He'll just come along and hold you when it's tough. I remember I've had tough times at church and things in the last several years, Marty, but I would just go home. Peyton would just come to me and kiss me and say, Daddy, I love you. Just the sweetness. God will just be there for you. He'll love you. He'll check on you. And just as sugar sweetens the cake, God's love sweetens our lives, even when we're going through tough times. Let me ask you something. I've had times where it was just tough. I was crying in the middle of the night. And I remember God's word, his promises says, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. And the promise, he said, you can cast your cares on me. It'll leave you saying like that old gospel song, every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before.